Welcome, fight fans! As we embark on the riveting journey of Mike Tyson's rise and fall, let's start at the beginning. From a young age growing up in Brooklyn, New York, Iron Mike showed a fiery spirit in the streets that would later serve him well in the ring. But it was his discovery of boxing that allowed his natural talents to shine. Under the guidance of his mentor Cus D'Amato, Mike refined his raw skills and explosive power. Just 3 years after turning pro, he had battered his way to become the youngest ever heavyweight champion at 20. His intimidating presence and blistering combinations made him a force to be feared. Yet little did we know then how high his star would rise, and later fall dramatically. Stick with us as we explore the thrilling highs and crushing lows of one of boxing's most iconic and complicated figures, the rise of Iron Mike. Right from his early days growing up in Brooklyn, you could see this kid had a fire in his eyes that told you he wasn't one to back down from anything or anyone. Living in a tough neighborhood, Mike learned early on that you had to be willing to stand up and fight for yourself on the streets. But it was when he discovered his true talent and passion in the ring under the guidance of Cus D'Amato that everything started to change. Within just a few short years, Mike's explosive power and ruthless in-your-face style had battered almost every opponent brave or foolish enough to step in the ring with him. Before we knew it, at just 20 years old, he was dominating the heavyweight division and cementing his place in history as the youngest champ of all time. From his dramatic KO victories to his intimidating presence and killer instinct, Iron Mike took the boxing world by storm and captured the attention of fans around the globe. But as we'll explore further, Mike's story was just beginning. And little did we know then how dramatically his rise would later come crashing back down in the face of even greater challenges outside the ring. Stick with me now as we journey through the epic peaks and valleys that made Mike Tyson one of boxing's most legendary and complicated figures. The peak of success. Well, fight fans, once Mike Tyson had conquered the heavyweight division, there seemed nothing that could stop his rise to the top as the baddest man on the planet. Throughout the late 80s and early 90s, Iron Mike was dominating every opponent who dared step in the ring with him, often dispatching them in spectacular fashion within mere minutes. With each thunderous KO victory, his fame and fortune grew exponentially. Sold-out arenas, blockbuster PPV numbers, mega million-dollar paydays. Tyson was raking it in like never before and quickly becoming a global pop culture icon. From flashy cars to mansions to exotic pets, Mike relished flaunting his wealth and living the high life. Brands were tripping over themselves to land the champ as the face of their campaigns. It seemed Tyson was truly living the American dream, on top of the world with money, women, and respect. But little did we know what was happening behind closed doors. While Mike appeared invincible in his element between the ropes, outside forces were beginning to pick away at the foundations of his success. The real tests of his character and resolve had yet to come. Stick with me now as we journey deeper into the epic highs and eventual lows of one of boxing's most legendary and complicated figures. Signs of trouble. Mike Tyson's star continued to rise to stratospheric heights. It was becoming clear all the money and fame were taking their toll. Behind closed doors, you could see the cracks starting to show in Iron Mike's once seemingly indestructible armor. Legal issues and tumultuous relationships plagued Tyson as his erratic behavior grew more unpredictable. Where once there was a cool, calm, and collected champ, now there were reports of explosions of anger, run-ins with the law, and relationships crumbling around him. It was like you were watching a perfectly crafted machine slowly start to break down from the inside out. The demons that had always lurked in the darkness were beginning to take hold. Some very poor decisions and associations exacerbated the situation. As the turmoil grew, so too did the whispers that the man who had conquered the boxing world was now at risk of losing control outside of it. It was clear the tests facing the new Mike Tyson would be even tougher than any opponent he had ever faced in the ring. The only question was whether he had the strength left to rise to the challenge, or if the signs of trouble were heralding the beginning of the end. Stick with me now, folks, because the drama is only just starting to unfold. The fall from grace. It was in that legendary night in Tokyo back in 1990 that we all witnessed the beginning of the end for Iron Mike Tyson. Who could forget the shock on every face in that arena when Buster Douglas pulled off the massive upset? In that single moment, Mike went from seemingly invincible champion to a man now all too human and vulnerable. And over the next few years, it was devastating to watch it all come crashing down as a series of legal battles, divorces, financial mismanagement, and other setbacks sent Tyson into a steep decline, where once he stood atop the world, now he found himself imprisoned and left broken inside and out, like watching a real-life Greek tragedy unfold before our eyes. Each failed comeback attempt only seemed to drive him deeper into the abyss. It was heartbreaking to witness the fall of a man who had thrilled us so much in his prime. But as the saying goes, the higher you fly, the harder you fall. And folks, Tyson's crash landing was one for the ages. Stick with me now as we journey through the climactic final chapters of Mike's epic story. Financial missteps. Mike Tyson's career and life spiraled out of control in the late 90s and early 2000s. So too did his personal finances seemingly spin completely off the rails. It's honestly jaw-dropping to think about. This man earned a mind-boggling $685 million in today's dollars during his time in the ring. And yet by 2003, he had somehow managed to completely blow through every single penny. I mean, how does that even happen? Well, as usual, the devil was in the details. Reckless spending on mansions, luxury cars, pet tigers, and who knows what else drained Tyson's bank account faster than any opponent ever could. But when the money kept rolling in, it seemed the spending had no limits either. Add to that his lack of financial literacy and advisors, and it was the perfect recipe for disaster. Before we knew it, Mike had blown through hundreds of millions and was left completely broke and destitute. It was truly a fall from grace of biblical proportions. Stick with me now as we uncover the specifics of Tyson's financial failures and how easily even the wealthiest can lose it all without the right guidance. Legal battles and losses. If Mike Tyson's reckless personal spending wasn't enough to bankrupt him, the mountain of legal issues and lawsuits he faced over the years certainly did the trick. Between contractual disputes with promoters, costly defamation cases, and other legal battles, it seemed Iron Mike just couldn't avoid finding himself in front of a judge time and time again. And each case only drove his expenses and debts higher into the stratosphere. From allegations of sexual assault to brawls caught on camera, Tyson's actions often landed him in hot water with the law. But what many folks don't realize is just how predatory some promoters, advisors, and lawyers can be in the unforgiving world of pro boxing. When you factor in the target Tyson had constantly painted on his back due to his wealth and fame, it's no wonder he found himself in an endless game of legal ping pong. By the time the dust settled, Tyson's bank account was left flatter than an opponent after one of his signature right hands. Stick with me now as we delve into the complex legal saga that exacerbated Tyson's financial downfall. Financial drain. Man, when I think back to Tyson in his heyday, it blows my mind how much money that guy must have been blowing through. Between the lawsuits, which we all know drained him for millions, and that lavish lifestyle of his, it's no wonder his bank account went kaput. Can you imagine having a crew of hangers-on always mooching off you, expecting you to foot the bill for everything? Plus, all those flashy cars and mansions don't come cheap to maintain. On top of that, some of Tyson's business moves really backfired. I heard his club and restaurant ventures alone lost him tens of millions. And let's not forget all the friends who came out of the woodwork once he made it big, trying to get a slice of the pie. No wonder the money dried up faster than a puddle in the desert sun. With so many leeches and failed bets, it's no surprise Tyson went from being worth hundreds of millions to filing for bankruptcy. Talk about going from riches to rags, huh? Redemption and resilience. Mike Tyson's story saw some of the highest highs and lowest lows imaginable. There remains an inspiring message of redemption and resilience running through it all. After hitting absolute rock bottom, many thought Mike was done. But time and time again, he's proven to have the heart of a true champion. In retirement, Tyson has worked tirelessly on rebuilding his life, reconnecting with his family, seeking spiritual guidance, advocating for social justice issues, and even finding love again. And on the business side, he's shown the same grit and determination through his successful podcast, documentaries, and other ventures. Sure, Mike's made more than his fair share of mistakes, but he's also taken full accountability. grown immensely as a man, and wants others to learn from his triumphs and failures alike. That, to me, is the true mark of a role model. So as Mike's story continues to unfold, I'm excited to see what more is in store. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's never to count Iron Mike Tyson out. Legacy and lessons learned. We draw our discussion of Mike Tyson's incredible story to a close. I can't help but reflect on the powerful legacy and life lessons it imparts. Inside that squared circle, Iron Mike thrilled millions with his dominance and displayed a work ethic, determination, and raw talent like we may never see again. But his experiences outside the ropes also remind us that true success isn't just what you achieve in your field, but rather how you conduct yourself and manage challenges in all areas of life. While his financial fall served as a cautionary tale, Mike's continued efforts to rebuild, help others, and share his experiences are inspiring. At the end of the day, none of us are immune to the pitfalls of lost focus, poor influences, or lack of preparation for the realities of after. But like Mike, each of us is capable of overcoming difficulties through resilience, community, and personal growth. I sincerely hope folks will remember Mike's example, both the heights and depths, and use it to reflect on living purposefully, making wise choices, and handling life's twists and turns with grace. His story, for me, shows that our true character isn't defined by any single victory or defeat, but rather by how we weather both over the long haul. Well, fight fans, we've certainly been on one hell of a journey exploring the incredible rise and devastating downfall of Iron Mike Tyson. From his thunderous chaos inside the ring to the financial chaos outside of it, Mike's story is a powerful reminder that even the biggest of champions can fall victim to reckless spending and poor choices. As we wrap up our time together, I hope you'll take away the lesson of resilience in both victory and defeat. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our next episode where we'll look at another boxing legend's story. And remember, keep your guard up for what's to come in life. Learn from the past, but always stay curious. Thanks for watching, all. Now get out there and go punch something.